In the vast ocean, where the waves constantly beat against the ship's side, there is a silent but resilient journey, the journey of making a living of fishermen. They wake up when it is still dark, part the waves, and head out to sea, carrying with them hope, experience, and faith in the sea and sky. And so, each net each time it is pulled up is not only fish and shrimp, but also the dreams, sweat, and faith of the children of the sea. No matter the rain, wind, or cold, the fishermen still persevere at sea. Each handshake, each net throw is a part of their life attached to the waves. The net began to be pulled up, slowly, surely, carrying silent hope from the depths of the ocean. The comrades stood side by side, no words, just handshakes and understanding, as if they were born on this ship, among the white-capped waves. And then, the results gradually appeared. The fish sparkled in the early morning sunlight, crowded in the heavy net like a gift from the ocean to the worthy. The net was lifted up. Each pull was a breath of the ship, of the seamen, both excited and proud. The fish began to fall into the hole, like a bustling symphony in the middle of the ocean. The deck was wet and cold, seawater splashed everywhere, but no one moved from their positions. The last net was being pulled up, long, heavy, waterlogged, and mysterious. No one spoke, only the sound of the line and the waves lapping against the side of the boat. The fishermen waited silently, their eyes following each stroke of the net as if reading the thoughts of the deep sea. Will today be a good day, or will it be another day of trial? Either way, they were ready, because that is the life of the sea. And then, the sea answered. The fish poured out like silver water, covering the deck. The scales glittered, the tails swished strongly, all seemed to tell the ocean's own story. A big catch, no words needed, just eyes sparkling with joy and laughter amidst the storm. This was the moment when all the hard work paid off, when man and the sea, after so many challenges, became one again. Fish covered the deck, a vivid picture of the ocean that had just been given. The hands were hurried, but skillful, gathering each fish, classifying, arranging like diligent artists on the salty stage of the ocean. Each full box of fish was brought down to the cold hold, marking a successful day of fishing, a return empty-handed. The sea today is not fierce, the sea today is generous. But fishermen never wait for luck, they live on perseverance and faith. When the sea is as calm as a mirror, it is not a time to rest, but a time when the fisherman silently prepares for the next pull of the net. The net is lowered, gently, slowly, like a wish into the deep sea. No one knows what is below: fish, seaweed, or just empty space, but each drop of the net always carries hope. And so, the cycle of the sea and of the fisherman's lives continues, without stopping. The nets were spread out, and the fish were all over the deck. Once again, the sea did not disappoint. The fishermen's hands moved quickly, gathering, sorting, arranging in a rhythm that could only belong to those who live their lives with the sea. Amidst the ropes, the nets, the machines, and the characteristic fishy smell, there was a picture of honest labor, silent but brilliant. And whether after this catch comes rain or shine, they will continue, because the sea never stops calling their names. Another net was cast down, hand in hand, man in man, like an endless wheel between the sea and sky. No one knew what the sea would be like tomorrow, but today, they were still standing here on the cold, damp deck, with their eyes fixed firmly on the horizon. The sea promised nothing, but the sailors never faltered. The last fish poured into the hold, ending a hard but satisfying day of work. The sea is still the same, vast, tolerant, but also full of challenges, and the fishermen still silently attach their whole lives to the salty taste of the waves. They don't need noise, don't need the spotlight, just a peaceful sea trip, a full hold of fish, and tomorrow they will continue to go out to sea, because for them, the sea is not just a place to make a living, the sea is life. When the sea is calm, the fish have entered the hole, the work gradually comes to an end, the fisherman is busy cleaning up, no complaints, no boasting, only the serenity of someone who is too familiar with the rhythm of life in the middle of the ocean. In the distance, the shore appears faintly amid the morning mist, signaling a return. After a meaningful and salty trip, another day passes at sea, and then tomorrow they set sail again, because the sea, to them, is not just a place to work, but a home. Each stroke of the net is pulled in tight, rhythmic like a familiar symphony between man and the sea. The sky may rain, the sea may be cold, but the fishermen still cling to the net, still keep moving forward. No glory comes easily, only sweat, perseverance, and an unyielding spirit before the wind and waves, in the vast sea and sky. They are not only fishing but also preserving a profession, a life, a belief. Another bashful, vibrant, bustling with the sound of fish splashing and people calling each other amid the relentless work. The hands of fishermen are no longer counted by fish, but measured by compartments, by the eyes that shine amid so much hardship, diligence, resilience, proficiency. Every operation is the crystallization of a lifetime attached to the sea. Not everyone understands how hard this job is, but just looking at this moment is enough to be impressed. Each crate of fish was opened and taken down to the cold cellar carefully, neatly the way fishermen preserve the fruits of a day at sea. There was no clapping, no drums or trumpets, just the wet sound of the deck, the sound of fish hitting the cold ice, and a sigh of relief that the day was complete. In the vast ocean, every achievement is cherished because to get it, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of trust. The sea is not easy, but for those who know how to respect and stick to the sea always gives back what is worthy. Each net was pulled up from the sea heavy, waterlogged, and filled with hope. Each person had a position. Each hand pulled a rhythm as if they had been together since the first days at sea. No one asked, "Is the net heavy?" No one said the waves are too big, because everyone understood, to catch fish, one must have strength. To reach shore, one must have perseverance. The sea tested them with its depth, with wind and rain, and they responded with resilience and solidarity. The net was pulled aboard the boat, coiled, tight, heavy, and filled with nothing but tons of glistening fresh fish. This was more than just a successful catch, it was the sea's response to perseverance and patience. Those who have been to the sea will understand how many sleepless nights and how many times their hands bled because of the nets to get this image. But now, everything is quiet, only the sound of heartbeats, the sound of rushing fish, and the sighs of relief of those who live by the sea, love the sea. And then, the sea gave it all back. Waves of fish poured out like waves, filling the hole, splashing water, and the sound of fins flapping loudly like a song of victory in the middle of the ocean. At that moment no one needed to say anything. Everyone stood watching, silently, in the silent happiness that only the seafaring profession has. This is not just fish but sweat, strength, long nights in the wind and waves, and a testament to the never-ending faith in the ocean. The fish were piled high, layer upon layer, row upon row, covering the deck, sparkling in the sunlight like a silvery strip of ocean. It was neither luck nor miracle. This was the reward of perseverance, of those who did not give up in the midst of the storm. Looking at this moment, I understand why there are people who never leave the sea for their entire lives, because the sea gives them challenges, but also teaches them hope. In the midst of the stormy sea, the ship still rushed forward, and the net still being pulled up little by little. Despite the waves and the wind, no one backed down because they understood, the sea is not for the discouraged. The nets are wet and heavy, but the eyes of the fishermen are still looking back, where each fish is a reward for their perseverance. Nothing can stop the journey of those who have chosen to live with the wind and waves, because they are not simply fishing, they are fighting to keep their lives. And then the sea rose fish after fish poured down like a flood, covering the deck to the silent cheers of those accustomed to living in hardship. Nothing is more glorious than this moment when all the effort, all the sweat, all the calluses, are exchanged for the liveliness of each silver scale, each tail stroke. Not just a big catch, but a silent victory, a declaration of perseverance in the middle of the ocean. The sea has responded worthy of those who have never stopped being attached to the waves and the saltiness of life. Thank you for joining us on this journey out to sea today, where the waves, the nets, and the fishermen tell their own stories. If you love the life of the sea and appreciate the silent values of labor, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us and give us more motivation to share more. See you again on the next journeys amidst the vast waves and human love at the top of the waves.